Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In this video of the data visualization series, we will begin with a new technique of data visualization, that is boxplot. So what is a boxplot? A boxplot is a type of chart used in explanatory data analysis to visually show the distribution of numeric data and skewness through displaying the data quartiles and averages or central tendencies. Histograms are generally used to indicate the central tendency of data, but boxplot is a way of displaying the distribution of data based on a 5-number summary. It also gives an indication of how the values in the data are spread out. Boxplots show the 5-number summary of a set of data. Let us one by one see what they are. The first one is the minimum score. Then we have the first quartile, median, the third quartile, and the last one is the maximum score. So this is a figure of a box plot. The median is denoted by the line in the middle of the box plot. It marks the midpoint of data, which means that it divides the data into two equal parts. The lower quartile is the point below which around 25% of the data falls. Similarly, the upper quartile is the point below which 75% of the data lies. The data falling between the upper quartile and the lower quartile forms the interquartile range. It represents the middle 50% of the data, which means that 25% of the data lies above it and the other 25% of data lies below it. On either sides of the whiskers of the box plot, we see blue dots which are known as outliers. An outlier is an observation that is numerically distant from the rest of the data. Simply put, a value that is abnormally large or small compared to the rest of the data is known as an outlier. The lowest score in the data set, excluding the outlier, is known as the minimum score. And the highest score in the data set, excluding the outlier, is known as the maximum score. So now that we have understood the structure of a box plot, let us see the different uses of box plot. The first one is to show the average score of data. As the median of a data set is prominently shown in a box plot, we can easily find the average score or the central tendency for the data set. It shows the skewness of data. The position of the line representing the median of the data tells us about the skewness of data. If the line is exactly in the middle of the box, the data is normally distributed. If it is slightly to the left side, the data is said to be positively skewed. And similarly, if it is slightly to the right side of the box, the data is said to be negatively skewed. A box plot shows us the outliers in the data, which makes it easier to remove them while cleaning the data. It shows the dispersion of data. Dispersion, also known as scatter or variability, refers to the extent up to which a dataset ranges. This can be found out by calculating the difference between the maximum score and the minimum score of the data, which is easily possible with the help of a box plot. Box plots divide the data into sections that each contain approximately 25% of the data. Box plots are also useful to visualize differences among different sample groups. So here is how we can compare two or more box plots with the same parameters having different samples of data. The first one is by comparing the medians of the respective box plots. A box plot with a greater median will indicate the higher overall scores in that sample. Although there could be a possibility of two or more box plots having the same median but different distribution of data. Hence, the next way of comparing box plots is by comparing their interquartile ranges. This can be used to compare the spread of data. A longer interquartile range means that the data is more spread out compared to the data having a shorter interquartile range. The next is by comparing skewness of box plots based on the position of the respective median lines. And the last one is looking for potential outliers, which will help to compare the general trend of the scores in different box plots. So this was all about the theory of box plots. To learn the code for box plots, stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.